It is the single most terrifying moment in professional life. I don't care who you are.
Oh, yeah?
You walk into the room, or let's be honest, in 2026, you log into the Zoom call, you're wearing your best shirt, you've memorized your resume, your heart is pounding a little bit, and then the interviewer looks at you, smiles that tight little corporate smile, and drops the bomb.
So, tell me about yourself.
Ugh, just hearing it gives me chills. It's the open-ended nightmare.
It is. It's the question that sounds like a casual icebreaker, but is actually, a trap.
It really is. It sounds so simple, but it just freezes people. I mean, where do you even start? Do they want to know where I was born?
Right.
Do they want to know about my obsession with making the perfect sourdough starter? Or do they want a dramatic line-by-line reading of my LinkedIn profile?
And that confusion, that split-second hesitation where your eyes dart around the room, is exactly where most candidates lose the job.
Before the interview has even really started.
Absolutely. Before it's even begun.
That sounds a bit catastrophic, doesn't it? Losing the job in the first 60 seconds. Surely they're listening to the rest of your answers.
You would hope so. But if you look at the hiring data and the psychology behind interviews, which is what we're digging into today, the primacy effect is very, very real.
The primacy effect? What's that?
It's a cognitive bias. Basically, the human brain is lazy.
Tell me about it.
We make a judgment in the first few seconds. I like this person, or this person is disorganized, and then we spend the rest of the conversation looking for evidence to support that initial snap judgment.
So if I ramble in the first minute, the interviewer spends the next 20 minutes just thinking, see, there they go, rambling again.
Exactly. You've framed yourself as the rambler. If you start off unstructured, you've signaled that you don't know how to prioritize information. You have wasted the most valuable real estate in the interview.
Well, luckily for everyone listening, we are going to fix that today. We are looking at a stack of research focused on something called the S.E.A.T method, S-E.A.T.
It's a structural framework. It's designed to crack that specific interview code.
And our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to take that awkward, terrifying first 60 seconds and turn it into a strategic weapon. We're talking about a formula that guarantees you sound professional, concise, and most importantly, relevant.
Relevance.
Yeah.
That is the absolute key word here. If you remember nothing else from this deep dive, remember relevance.
Okay, so before we get into the acronym, let's talk about the landscape right now. Why do we need a method for talking about ourselves? Shouldn't it just be a natural conversation?
Why can't I just be myself?
Exactly.
In a perfect world, maybe. But the job market in 2026 is defined by two things: speed and data overload. Recruiters and hiring managers are absolutely overwhelmed.
Just swamped with applications.
They don't have the cognitive bandwidth to sift through your life story to find the nuggets that matter. The sources emphasize that the perfect answer needs to be strictly under 60 seconds.
Under 60 seconds? That's barely an elevator pitch. That's like a TikTok.
It's tight. But that constraint is intentional. It forces you to cut the fluff. It forces you to focus not just on who you are, but on who you are in relation to this specific problem they need to solve.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics. The method is called S.E.A.T. S-E-A.T. Walk us through the anatomy here. Where do we start?
We start with S. S stands for skills.
Okay. But I have to play devil's advocate here. Isn't skills just my resume? I can juggle, I can use Excel, I make great coffee. Isn't that redundant if they have the paper in front of them?
It is redundant if you do it that way. And that's the mistake people make. They treat it like a menu of everything they've ever learned. The source material is very specific.
Yeah.
You must list the skills you possess that specifically match the job description.
So this requires homework before you even walk in the door.
Absolutely. You need to have analyzed the job posting like a detective. If they mention project management and Python 3 times in the ad, your opening sentence needs to contain project management and Python.
You're mirroring them.
You're establishing the hardware. Think of it this way. If you're buying a high-performance laptop for gaming, you don't care if it comes in a pretty box. You want to know, does it have the graphics card? Does it have the RAM?
Right, the specs.
You start by establishing that you have the tools to do the job they're advertising. It signals immediately, I have read the job description and I am qualified.
So instead of, hi, I'm John and I've been working in tech for 10 years, it's more like,
It's, I am a full-stack developer with specific expertise in Python and cloud infrastructure.
much better. With the specific cloud infrastructure skills you're looking for.
Yes. Connect the dots for them. Don't make them guess.
Okay, so we've established the skills. We move to E. What is E?
E stands for experience or education, depending on where you are in your career.
Now, this feels like the trap. This is where people start the chronology of John.
Well, in 2015, I did this.
And then in 2017, I moved here, and then I took a gap year.
It is the biggest trap. It's the and then syndrome. The S.E.A.T method suggests you briefly mention your background, only to give context to the skills you just listed.
Okay, so it connects the what to the where.
Exactly. It connects the what the skills to the where and when your history. It's not a timeline. It's a validity check.
Give me a bad example versus a good example. I want to hear what the bad version actually sounds like.
Okay, a bad example is,
Right.
I graduated in 2018, then I worked at Company A for 2 years doing sales. But I didn't really like the manager, so then I moved to Company B, where I was a manager for 3 years, and now I'm here.
Yeah, I'm already bored.
Yeah.
And I'm confused about why you left the first job. Seems negative.
Exactly. You've introduced negativity and totally irrelevant details. A good example, using the S.E.A.T method would be something like, over the last 5 years in the fintech sector, I've honed these sales skills by leading teams in high-pressure environments.
I see the difference. One is a history lesson, the other is a narrative. You're saying, I have these skills, and here is the proof of where I got them.
You're building a narrative arc. You're showing that your experience has been building toward this job. You aren't just wandering through your career. You're on a path that leads right here.
Okay, moving on. We have skills, we have experience, now we get to A. This is the part that makes people uncomfortable, I think.
A stands for achievements.
The humble brag section, or maybe just the brag section. A lot of people feel gross talking about themselves like this.
It feels uncomfortable because we're taught not to boast. But the sources frame this as vital evidence. You can claim you have skills, and you can claim you have experience, but A is where you prove you are a high achiever.
So, do we need to bring trophies, gold stars? I was Employee of the Month in 2019.
We're talking concrete outcomes.
Mhm.
The source examples are things like winning an award, sure, but better yet, saving money or improving a process.
I like improving a process. It feels more accessible. You don't have to have won a Nobel Prize.
No, not at all.
You just need to have left a place better than you found it.
That's the key. It's about impact. It distinguishes you from someone who just showed up, punched the clock, and went home. If you say, I improved efficiency by 20%, that sticks in the interviewer's brain much more than I am hardworking.
Evidence over adjectives.
Well, actually, adjectives have their place too, which brings us to the final letter, T.
T stands for type of person. Now, I have to be skeptical here. Is this where we get into the personality hire territory?
I'm fun. I bring donuts on Fridays.
Yeah, I'm the office DJ, because that sounds like fluff.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But no, when the S.E.A.T method talks about type of person, it isn't talking about your social vibe. It's referring to your professional character.
Professional character.
It's about describing the type of employee you are and the value you add to the culture.
Can you distinguish that for me? What's the difference between social character and professional character?
Social character is I'm funny and I like hiking. Professional character is I take ownership. The source suggests phrases like, I am the type of person who takes ownership of problems. Or, I am the type of employee who acts as a positive role model.
Oh, that's strong. It's almost like a promise. If you hire me, this is how I will behave when things get tough.
That's it exactly. It's closing the loop. You've shown your skills, your context, your proof of success.
Yeah.
And now you're telling them who you will be in their hallway.
So S.E.A.T skills, experience, achievements, type. That flow moves from the hard facts to the emotional intelligence.
And remember, the clock is ticking. You have to do this all under 60 seconds.
Right. Got to keep it snappy. But here's where it gets really interesting for me. Does this structure actually work for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Because a CEO and a fresh college grad are coming from two completely different worlds.
Yeah.
A CEO has too much to say. A grad feels like they have nothing to say.
It's a great observation. The beauty of a framework like this is that it's modular. The content changes, but the structure holds up.
Okay.
The sources actually provided 2 distinct scripts.
Uh-huh.
One for the experienced candidate and one for the fresher or someone with no experience.
Let's look at the experienced one first. Because I think a lot of people assume experience speaks for itself. But often, those are the people who ramble the most because they have 15 years of stuff to talk about.
So true. In the example for the experienced candidate, the script starts with a power move. I have studied the job description, and my skills are a perfect match for the role.
That is bold, it's confident, it cuts right through the noise.
It does. And then they list adjectives. Listen to these words carefully. I am a hard-working, self-disciplined, and productive Insert job title.
Productive is an interesting word choice there. It feels industrial.
It signals output.
Yeah.
It signals that you aren't just there to occupy a chair or manage people for the sake of managing. But look at how they handle the achievement section. The script says, "In my last role, I was praised by my manager for my flexibility and for how I helped train new team members."
I see what they did there. That's a leadership trait, even if you weren't a manager, helping train new team members. It shows you lift the team up.
Correct. And look at the type closing for the experienced candidate. This is fascinating. The script says, "I will be the type of employee who works hard to ensure you see a great return on your investment."
Whoa! Return on investment, ROI.
That is language that speaks directly to a hiring manager's brain.
That's pure business. You're telling them, I am not an expense, I am an asset that will pay off.
Even better, you are framing your salary as an investment. Most candidates think of themselves as a cost. I cost $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
This candidate says, put $80,000 in and I will give you $120,000 of value back.
A completely different way to position yourself.
It's a very high-level way to do it.
Okay, so that's the pro level. But what if you were sitting there listening to this and thinking, I have zero ROI, I have zero experience, I just graduated. How does a fresher use S.E.A.T without lying?
You don't lie, you translate. This is the trick.
Translate.
The source material is very clever here. For the experience section, instead of work history, you talk about transferable experiences.
Like what? I was really good at Call of Duty.
Not quite, though hand-eye coordination is a skill. No, think about the academic environment. The script suggests phrases like managing my study time effectively and collaborating on team projects.
Okay, so you're taking the reality of student life deadlines, group work, pressure, and framing it as work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't just go to class, I managed a workload.
Right. You treat your degree as your first job.
And for the achievement, or A section, since you haven't saved a company money yet, you mention achieving excellent grades or helping to set up a student study support group.
Again, it's about initiative. You didn't just attend, you participated. You built something.
But here's the most critical part. For the fresher, the T, the type of person, if you lack experience, what is the one thing you can offer that an experienced person might not?
Yeah. Energy. Cheap labor.
Teachability. The script closes with, "If you hire me, I will willingly accept feedback and guidance from my managers so that I quickly become a valuable asset."
That is smart. You're saying, I know I don't know everything, but I am safe to hire because I listen.
And that willingness to accept feedback is often the #1 trait recruiters look for in entry-level roles. They can teach you the software, they can teach you the protocol, they can't teach you to drop your ego.
So the structure is the same seed, but the currency changes. Experienced people trade on ROI, freshers trade on potential and attitude.
That's the breakdown.
Now, we have to talk about the danger zone. The sources we have include a section explicitly titled Critical Tips for 2026. And the first one is a big fat do not.
Yes, this is the professional-only rule.
I feel like this is where people try to be charming and it backfires. The source says, do not talk about your family relationships or personal problems.
It seems harsh, doesn't it?
Right.
We're constantly told to bring our whole selves to work.
Yeah, authenticity is the buzzword of the decade.
But the source is arguing that in the first 60 seconds of an interview, it's a trap.
So if I say, I'm a father of 3 and I love hiking, am I actually losing points?
You aren't losing points for being a father or liking hiking, but you are losing the battle for attention. Remember, you have 60 seconds.
Right.
Every second you spend talking about your kids or your weekend hobbies is a second of critical hobbies. You aren't talking about why you are the best person to solve their business problems.
It's an opportunity cost issue.
Exactly. And the source makes a very strict distinction. Hobbies are only okay if they're relevant.
So I play video games is bad, but code mods for video games might be good if you're applying for a developer job.
Correct. Or I run marathons might be good if you're applying for a role that requires immense stamina and discipline. But if you're just saying it to be interesting, cut it.
The interview is a business meeting, not a date.
Exactly. Not a date.
That's a good mantra. Save the cat photos for the second week on the job.
Or at least until you've signed the offer letter.
So we've got the structure, we've tailored it, and we know what to avoid. But our listener isn't aiming for average. They want to crush this. The sources mention some advanced tactics for 2026. How do we go from good answer to unforgettable?
This is where we get into the psychology of the hook.
The hook. Tell me more.
Most people end their "tell me about yourself" answer by just stopping.
Right.
Or they say, so yeah, that's me, and then awkward silence.
The interviewer has to wake up and look at their notes.
Right. The source suggests ending your introduction not just with a period, but with an invitation, a specific sentence to show enthusiasm and transition control back to you.
Give me the line.
The quote is, I am genuinely excited about this opportunity and look forward to sharing more details about my suitability during the interview.
It's smooth. It signals, I'm done with my pitch. Now let's dance.
It shows confidence. But if you really want to blow them away, and this is what the source calls the advanced tip, you use the SMART work plan.
I saw this in the notes. The 30, 60, 90-day plan. Now, to me, this sounds intense for a first interview. It sounds almost arrogant.
It is intense, and it walks a fine line, but that's why it works if you do it right. The idea is to mention in your entry, to prepare for this interview, I have created a 30-day plan of action that outlines what I will do in the role to get up to speed quickly, which I'd love to share with you.
Whoa, wait, pause. You walk in and say, I've already planned my first month of work.
Think about what that does to the power dynamic in the room. Most candidates are sitting there hoping to be chosen.
They're passive.
By bringing a plan, you are shifting the dynamic. You are acting like an employee who is already working.
It's presumptive, but in a good way. It's high status.
It shows immense initiative and says, I have visualized myself in this seat, and here is how I will deliver value starting day one. Even if your plan isn't perfect, the fact that you have one sets you apart from 99% of candidates who just read the website.
And psychologically, it forces the interviewer to visualize you in the role, too.
Exactly. It changes the conversation from, can you do this job, to let's critique your plan for doing this job. You've moved from an interrogation to a collaboration.
That is a power move. But I imagine you have to deliver it right. You can't mumble that line.
No. If you say, I made a plan, while looking at your shoes, it's just creepy. The source wraps up with the necessity of rehearsal. Confidence, eye contact, these physical requirements matter.
Right.
If you have the best script in the world, but your body language says, I'm terrified, the SEAT method falls apart.
You have to believe it to sell it.
You do. Practice until it sounds natural, not robotic.
Yeah.
Record yourself. Listen to it. Does it sound like you, or does it sound like a script?
Okay, let's bring this all home. This has been a crash course in personal branding.
It really has.
So, to recap for everyone listening, the next time someone says, tell me about yourself, you are not going to panic. You are going to visualize a seat.
Right. S for skills. Match the keywords. E for experience, give context, not chronology. A for achievements, evidence over adjectives. And T for the type of person you are, professional and valuable.
And you're going to do it in under 60 seconds.
Crucial. Respect their time.
You're going to tailor it ROI for the pros, teachability for the freshers. You're going to leave your personal baggage and your cat photos at the door. And if you're feeling brave, you're going to drop that 30-day plan on the table.
And by doing so, you solve the interviewer's problem. You make it easy for them to say yes.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. Not showing off, but helping them tick the box that says qualified.
It's funny, when you frame it like that, it takes the fear out of it. It's not a test of your soul. It's a data delivery mission.
Precisely. It's just business.
Before we go, I want to leave the listener with a thought. We talked about that 30-day plan. Think about the difference in mindset there. If you walk into an interview with a plan for your first month, really ask yourself, are you asking for a job? Or are you proposing a business partnership?
That's a powerful shift.
It changes everything. Stop asking for permission and start proposing value. Go practice your pitch.
Good luck out there.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.